Well, what's up, everybody? We are officially live. No intro music today. I had to do my man Mark Evans DM justice because if you've listened to his podcast, you know that he's got some of the best intro music out there. So our little 30-second reel was not going to cut it. Um, this is definitely probably one of the most special shows we will ever do. This one's definitely near and dear to my heart. Mark has been such a major impact on my lives, my family's lives, and hundreds of people that I know. So I don't even know where to start in terms of introducing Mark, unless you live under a rock and you're not using Google or you don't see this everywhere. You should know who Mark Evans DM is. But in case you don't, I'll say from the bottom of my heart that he's probably one of the most phenomenal people you will ever come in contact with if you have that luxury of meeting him in person or online or in any other sort of medium. He will change your life, hands down. I know this is probably awkward for him right now, but absolutely love the guy. He's probably one of the greatest business moguls, investors, family guys, you name it. He's done it. He's currently doing it. It's massive. I can't even put it into words. That was one of the hardest parts about the show was how do you get the people that don't know Mark Evans DM to know Mark Evans DM in just 30 minutes. So we'll take it way back. Mark, can you give us some context about your earlier years of life and just how you grew up and what that, so that we can really understand who you are and how you've become the Mark you are today and how you'll become the future Mark.
Yeah, man. Hey, first of all, thanks for having me and appreciate the nice words. It always is uncomfortable, really good uncomfortable, right? So I appreciate that, man. It means a lot. It's kind of a cool thing to be at this position. I've been 26 years in the business life, so if you go backwards, like you said, I grew up in a small town an hour east of Columbus, Ohio. Grew up in a trailer court till I was 10 years old. My parents still live in the house we grew up in after that. And my mom and dad just hard workers. My dad did construction. My mom did admin. And she was my parents are amazing. They're hard workers, but they never understood money. Well, the only thing they did understand about money is they didn't have it. So, they worked hard to put food on the table, and I respected that. And I always understood like they were doing everything they could with the information they had. And they had 3 kids very young, man, 18, 19, and 20, So what's cool about that is, I got to see firsthand what hard work looks like. So I'm very thankful for that because I am a hard worker. I love working hard, but I also don't want to be the dead fly on the seal either. Flies that are trying to get out that window work really hard, but they end up dying on the seal instead of stopping for a second and going out the window that's open. So anyways, 18 years old, barely graduated high school, no clue. I had zero desire to go to college. My parents were never like, you got to go to college. It's the only way you're going to make it in life. They never said that. Thank God. And, 2 days after that, I bought a seamless gutter company, met a guy. He was doing all these work. And I was like, yo, he's smoking cigars, driving Porsche all day. I'm like, dude, what do you do? He's like, I'm a real estate investor. I'm like, I want to be that. And then I took a class. I literally took every dime I had, $2,500. Went to a 3-day training in Florida. I was scared out of my mind, but I was excited, scared, anxious, all in the same thought, right? So, but I sit there and learn. I saw the guy make a phone call, and I said, I can do that. And I started executing, and it wasn't always pretty. Obviously there's a lot of failure inside of that, but I don't look at losses as losses. I look at them as lessons. And like I said, I'm hard-headed, kind of, kind of that person that's just like, whatever. Like, you ask, 20 girls to go out with you and they say no, but like the next one's going to say yes. And then she says no. Like I was just always hard-headed like that. So I was just like, dude, this is what I want. I'm going to go get what I want. One thing too, I had great grandparents. Like I always knew like life is very short and very precious. So I'm like, dude, I want to live my life. My mom and dad did a great job with what they did. I want to live my life. My grandparents, I want to but I got to see that, how it looked. And, not a lot of people get to live the life they want. They live a life that they think people want them to have. And I was like, dude, I just want to, this is who I am. I wear a goofy hat. I wear, I wear white socks and, black shoes. I do what I want. Like that's really, I've always wanted to have money to be able to do whatever the hell I want whenever I want. That's the truth. And
I don't know that I've ever seen you wear white socks with black shoes.
well, yeah, usually I'm just wearing flip flops, but
Okay.
I was trying to over exaggerate a situation. That's what entrepreneurs are great at, over exaggeration.
I know.
Dude, I'm closing so many deals, and I'm like, how many deals you done? They've done one this year. I'm like, wait, it's already 10 months deep. What are you talking about? But that's what we do. But no, in all seriousness, man, I just, I almost went bankrupt twice through the journey because I got cocky. I got very loose. I didn't have a financial mentor. I knew how to make money. I didn't know how to keep it. That was a big game changer for me. And then I just started learning about really understanding about stewardship of money. Like, I feel like I've been super blessed. I worked really hard to get this money. Now I got to steward it correctly to protect myself, my family, my future, my generation, like multiple generations deep. And my objective has always been to change my financial family tree. Like my family, I'm the only one that I know that can literally take what I'm doing and go do it in a big way to change, everything. Like literally everyone past, like beyond, like behind me, like I'm going to help change that financial future. So I'm got deep roots. I'm going to lead by example, and that's what I'm going to do, man. Blood on the face and all.
Nice. I love it. I love it. So the main goal for this group, and I mean, this group has just been growing exponentially because of this, is to educate you guys. And one of the reasons, I mean, among others, while I started following Mark was because his message just resonated with me on a different level than any other messages that I've ever heard. And when we had the pleasure of getting on a call, what was it, like 6-7 months ago? And apart from roasting me, you said that I knew everything I needed to know about real estate. There were just some other missing pieces there. And that just like struck me, man. That was like a slap in the face because I had this aha moment. Like, I do know how to do a lot of this. There are some missing pieces. So, the past 6 months, we've been kind of connecting the dots, and I've been, just hoping and praying to get you on here because I want everybody else to experience what I experienced about 6 months ago and what I'm currently experiencing now, which is like this revolution of just knowing that it's not so much about getting the deal done. A lot of us know how to do the deal. It's about getting in here right so that you're capable of doing the deal. So that's one of the main reasons why we've got Mark on here. I mean, like I said earlier, Mark has literally touched and changed thousands of lives. I had the opportunity to go to his birthday bash, and I mean, my mind was blown. The amount of admiration that people expressed towards one individual was just like jaw-dropping. I'd never been around somebody where people literally just admire the guy. And I was like, I got to be around this. Like, I've got to know people like that. That is the only way that I'm going to get out of this rat race. That's the only way that I'm going to get to whatever that next level looks like. And I want to take everybody in this group, everybody that I know along in this journey, because I mean, I've never met an individual that just spoke to me in a way that, shook my inner core. So today we just kind of want to talk about what it means to be a deal maker and what's actually truthfully stopping you from doing deals. So I know, Mark, that's something that you can easily talk about because you come across this in any industry. Doesn't matter if it's real estate, doesn't matter if you're mining gold or if you're internet, warrior and you're on there trying to become a social elite. Doesn't matter. It works across any industry. So what are your thoughts right now with all the chaos that's going on and how people are kind of retracting and they're just not really doing deals right now?
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, this admiration thing at that event, this is amazing what you can do when you hire actors and give them a script, tell them what to say. No, it's, here's the thing is when we see the DM and the deal maker, the truth is it really means dream maker to my mom, right? It's always been like, wow. You got to find that thing, that anchor that drives you. When you see it, it pushes you. Like, I believe everyone is a DM to their own lives. Like, they're the deal maker and the dream maker. If you're not making deals with yourself and sticking to them and making them happen, you're literally stealing from yourself, your family, your future, everybody, everything you care about. You set out these great grand goals. You're like, I'm going to buy a deal. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And yet all your actions are lackluster at best. And the truth is, the reason right now why everyone's so frustrated and overwhelmed is because they're on the fucking internet 24/7 looking at what everyone else is doing or what they think they're doing. And that's a problem. Because when you get taken over by consumption, you feel inadequate. You feel like you're doing something wrong. You're doing something. First of all, it has nothing to do with anybody, me, Toby, anybody. It doesn't matter what they're doing. It doesn't matter how great it looks. It doesn't matter how easy it looks. It does not do anything for you. Yes, we can inspire you. Yes, we get you excited. But then what do you do with that information? What do you do with that emotion? You got to go out there and you got to set these rules for yourself to get your ass up and start executing. Right now, this is my biggest fear. And you're going to see me talking a lot more about this more. Like I'm very afraid lots of people are going to commit suicide over the next 6 to 12 months. Wow. It's a very real thing because a lot of entrepreneurs, they called themselves entrepreneurs, are going to get exposed at massive levels. The market made a lot of dumb people look very smart, made a lot of dumb people. Like when I say dumb, I'm talking uneducated people that literally could push a button and make money, right? Like it's not hard to make money when everything's amazing. But then they're out there saying, oh, it's amazing. And then they believe their own bullshit because the market actually is telling them they're doing a good job because they're making more money. But what happens is this is where winners will be made. Over the next 12 months, this is where winners are going to be made. You're going to learn about yourself at the deepest level. You're going to literally, if you're contracting, you got to start asking. I call it thought auditing, right, Toby? You know this. Like, why am I retracting? Where's this emotion coming from? Do I have more money in the bank or less money in the bank? What am I doing more of? What am I doing less of? All these different things. And you got to start asking yourself, like, okay, what can I control? Because you mentioned chaos. What chaos can I control? I can't control outward chaos. I can control internal chaos. What I'm thinking, what I'm reading, what I'm watching, what I'm doing, what I'm implementing, who I'm talking to, what I'm talking about. Like, these are all controllable things that can be consumed, considered as chaos if we allow it to be. And you got to get laser focused. Like literally laser focus. You got to start shedding the fat. I talked about this on a podcast show recently. A lot of people right now are trying to save their way to zero. First of all, if you cut your cost, the lowest you can go is zero. If you educate yourself, the upside is unlimited. So do you want to exhaust? Why is people exhaust all their energies going to zero and that's the lowest you can go, which will never happen? And or learn what you're sharing here, Toby, inside your group and your environment where you can up, knowledge up and go out there and execute and live a way better life by making way more money.
Golly, that's a lot to unpack there. I mean, I find myself, I'm supposed to be interviewing you and I'm like taking all this in. I'm like wanting to go get the journal and start jotting this stuff down. Man, that is like, that's heavy, especially with the suicide stuff. I mean, I was literally just thinking about that last night. I was talking to my wife and I was like, man, it's getting pretty bad out there. I mean, there's a lot of signs out there, but I feel so fortunate to be in an environment where people are still crushing it. They're still doing real estate deals. They're still buying businesses. They're still cash flowing. They're still acquiring new opportunity every single day. And it's like, this is crazy. Like I'm used to being on the other side of the spectrum where I'm like scrambling, trying to figure stuff out. I'm trimming the fat. I'm saying, hey, no more real estate deals for the next 6 to 12 months. I don't even want to look at another multifamily. Nobody's putting money out and having all this negativity. And now I'm on the flip side, like, where's more opportunity? Where's it at? I want it. I want at it because I'm educating myself. I'm hanging out with people like you. I'm hanging out in the DM Alliance, which is a mastermind that I'm honored to be a part of. And I mean, we're just literally everybody in there is just having this shift and we're just crushing it. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. Listen, everyone, as you know, Toby's in different seasons and different parts of their life. Some people get very excited. They went real heavy, 6, 12 months, 18 months ago. And now all of a sudden it's catching up to them and it could be good or bad. It depends on how you underwrote the deal. It depends on what your core strengths are. Some people are really good at making moves. And again, right now with what's going on in the world in general, just the negativity, even though there's a lot of positive stuff going on, but even with the negativity in our brain is what happens is you have to understand, like, it's an ebb and flow process. This is always going to happen. This is where, like I said, this is where the winners are made. Yeah. Dude, you're like, this is like Tom Brady in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left, down 14 points. Are you going to collapse at the knees and just go sit back on the bench and watch everyone else like do what they do? Or are you going to step up and thrive in this? The guys and gals that I know that will win at this game at a big level, they're like, listen, it's not fun, but it's exciting, if that makes sense. Because I know this is where people quit. I know there's people that you guys know online that talk about how they have the most amazing life, and they're calling me privately, and they're like, dude, I think I got to get a job. Like, I'm scared. And I'm like, huh? Like, it doesn't even make sense. But again, it's like their old self start coming up, resurfacing, right? It's been so easy for so long. And now all of a sudden it's getting a little tighter and they're not sure how to deal with it. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur until this moment. This is true entrepreneurship, because literally you have to wear 4 hats at the same time, hoping none of them fall off. Because if one falls off, they all fall off. So, right, you got to be raising money. You got to be prospecting deals. You got to be hiring. You got to be firing. You got to be growing your marketing campaigns. My boy Tim was talking about this, about Kellogg's and Post, right? Cereal, right? During the recession back in the 20s, Post cut all marketing because they're trimming the fat. Well, Kellogg's saw that as an opportunity to go harder on marketing to grab brand awareness. 100 years later, almost, guess who's in first place? Kellogg. Post can't compete. Post can't compete because when you retract, you lose momentum. And if you have great momentum, and again, you need to start digging deep. I always say take stock of your assets right now. And a lot of times people are like, oh, I have 4 houses, I have 2 apartment buildings, blah, blah. No, what about your relationships? What about your buyers? What about your investors? What about your friends? What about like your business buddies? Like those are assets. The properties will come and go. These are people that you forge deep relationships with. You know what I mean? And relationships, I believe, my motto is no man left behind, right? If you're in my tribe and we're rolling, we're all going to win. Might not be pretty. Entrepreneurship very rarely is pretty, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not sexy. There's a lot of cussing going on, a lot of pushing, a lot of dry heaving.
a lot of crying in a fetal position in the closet.
Yeah. Dude, listen. This is why people are like, oh, it's so easy. Why doesn't everyone do it? Well, losing weight's easy too. Why isn't everyone skinny? It's not simple. That's why it's easy, but not simple, right? So we have to get out there and do the work. That's the difference between execution and, this fantasy people's created over their whole life, and unfortunately, social media has really heightened what's going on. So keep in mind, I've been in the game since 96. I saw what happened in 06. What happened in 06 will be a cakewalk with what's happening over the next 12 months, 18 months max, right? So knowing that the reason it's going to be different is because social media is different. The message is getting heightened and multiplied at such a massive rate now. See, back in 2006, Facebook wasn't even really a thing. You guys know that, right? Like, it wasn't even like really a big thing. Instagram didn't exist. None of these things like existed. Now, one thing happens, it's like 50 other outlets get it, and now it's on social media. And dude, it's scary. Slow down, push back, pull back, blah, 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 blah. It's like, as opposed to like, get in the right rooms, like you said, the DM Alliance and things that you're a part of is like in this room here is like you have to get around talking about positivity. First of all, we all have problems. Like, what's the solution? Right? What's the solution? And that's all I want to talk about. We all have problems, but how do we solve it? That's where the rubber meets the road, man.
So, I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, and I want to just kind of slow down. So I don't want to lose anybody here, because once you get out of the matrix and you enter into this realm, hopefully there's no turning back. You realize you've been missing out for a long time. So what exactly is thought auditing? I know this is, you guys are probably thinking, let's get to the investing stuff and, underwriting. That stuff doesn't matter. Like, it's all about what's in here. So what exactly is thought auditing, and how do we do that?
Yeah. So thought auditing, right? Like, who taught you about money? Right. When I talk to someone in, the DM Alliance, $1,000 a month, they're like, that's a lot of money. I'm like, says who? Like who? Where did the stock come from? Right? A lot of money compared to what? It's a lot of money maybe for a popsicle. Maybe. Depends what kind of popsicle it is, right? It's all relative. If it's a piece of art, popsicle, it might be worth $1 million. See, it all depends on what's here and what you understand about money. Oh, I work really hard. What the fuck does hard work mean? Because hard work to you and I, from my experience, everyone says they work hard, and I promise you they couldn't hold a fucking anything compared to 90% of the guys I know. Like, they can't even compete. Like, they're wake up, they hang out, they gotta get their smoothie, they get 2 cups of coffee.
The smoothie, Mark. Hey, I do the smoothie.
Dude, you're fucking 400 pounds. You can't even barely breathe. Can't tie your shoes. That's why you gotta wear slip-ons. You can't even go play with your kids, and you're fucking working hard. Seriously, you got to get your shit realigned. And like, so this is thought auditing. You're hanging out with dipshits. I call it king of the dipshit mentality, right?
Yeah.
I used to do this, by the way. All this stuff I'm talking about, I've been there, done that. I've went through this journey. I wrote books about it, right? Because it's a real problem. Like king of the dipshits, you got 5 of your buddies hanging out like, dude, I'm crushing it. Oh, you think you did a big deal? I did a bigger deal. Well, you guys both made $1,200 this week. No one made it any big deal, right? We're still all broke. Our wives don't want to talk to us. Our kids aren't looking at us. We're hanging out at the bar. We're not hanging out with our kid. Like there's a problem here. You know what I mean? So when you're thought auditing, we have to get real crystal clear. One, here's the biggest problem. Most people don't even know what they want.
Boom.
That's number one. What do you want? I don't know. Well, how can I help you? If you don't know, how do I know? Right? So what happens is you're seeking people like Toby and I to tell you what you want. That's your problem. Because that's why you're on social media with your phone and your face in the phone looking for answers. The answer's inside of you. And the problem is you're going to get more confused the deeper you're on social media, the deeper you're in these environments. Most people are overeducated with knowledge about how to do a real estate deal. Yeah, guys, here's how to do a real estate deal. Find a seller. Find the value add. Understand your model. Are you going after single families, apartments, commercial? It's all the same shit. It's just a piece of land with something on it, right? You don't even need anything on it. You just flip land. You got to understand what you're here for, and then execute. Why aren't you executing? Well, so-and-so says storage facilities are better. So-and-so says, 4 units and above are way better. Yeah, but the market's really bad. First of all, what's your plan? Build your plan and execute. You can change it later, but you can't be chasing 4 rabbits at the same time. It's not going to work. Wow. It's only going to create overwhelm. So thought auditing. My mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandpa, my football coach, my mentors back in the day, their thoughts became my thoughts, and I had to unprogram and reprogram what I want. Because the truth is, like, I didn't want to let my mom and dad down. I didn't want to do this. I don't want to say that. Like, I had to become me. We have to get comfortable inside of ourselves, man. And again, it's a real problem. Most people are trying to be everything for everybody, and the only person they're not serving is themselves, and that's an issue.
Golly, that's again, mic drop. So I was literally, before this call, I was just getting my haircut, and my old football coach walked out, and I told my barber, I was like, that was my old football coach. And I mean, we literally started talking about like different things. And I was like, man, that guy, you couldn't pay that guy to smile. I mean, he was so hard on me. He roughed me up. I mean, I had to run so much. I had to do this. And I lived my life for a long time trying to please that guy. So like when you're saying this, it's just like, man, I'm bringing back memories. It's literally just hit home not even an hour ago, and that process shaped me to become the guy I am today. Like there's all sorts of feelings, emotions, all sorts of crazy stuff that we're not going to get into. But man, it's like, I told you guys, like this show is going to be fire. It cuts deep.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, I have nothing here to sell. I want to see people succeed. If you win, I can win too. You don't have to win and I lose and I win and you lose. That's not the game we're playing. It's kind of like sunshine, right? If the sun's shining and I go outside and get sun, that doesn't mean you get less sun. We have to get in this game together. I always see people talking about, I don't want to share my strategy because competition. Dude, listen, you can't even implement your own fucking strategy. How am I going to I don't have time to implement yours either. I can barely implement mine. So everyone's like, we have to get serious about these thoughts though. Like first of all, what drives you, right? I might be driven to do $1 billion a year. You might be driven to do $1 million a year. There's no right or wrong, by the way. These are all like, you get with the guy that's doing $1 billion, you can make your $1 million way easier too, by the way. You don't have to do it all yourself. So what do you want? What strategy are you going to execute and become a badass expert in it? I've coached many guys and gals that you guys would know on social media and online. They're selling courses and coaching programs. And the thing is if they're crushing it, it's because they've stayed focused. If they're not crushing it, it's because they've done this, they've done that, they're doing too many things, right? Yep. So you got to get really focused and dialed in on what you want, and whatever you want is out there. I mean, it's absolutely, the time is right. It's now.
When you're talking about staying focused and all of these, winners that you've, helped along the way. So Where's Waldo challenge. If you don't know what Where's Waldo is, Google it. See how many of these you can find today alone on social media with all the winners. So success leaves clues there. But when you talk about all of that, I mean, how does someone get from being in this like mind screwed up state of going through the motions, trying to figure out how they want to be successful, figuring out their flight path and all of this, getting off of the social media consumption and all of that, to becoming this awesome byproduct? It's not by themselves, because I've tried that. I mean, that's when I reached out to you. I was like, Mark, look, I've done it. I'm on Lonely Island. I'm trying to figure this crap out on my own. I'm driving myself crazy. I was in my garage on the cell phone talking to you. I was like, Mark, I'm literally going crazy. I know that I should be making $1 million a month, and I'm not. And I hate it. I can't sleep at night because of that. So how does one get from the fetal position and these, these thoughts that aren't coming out, to anyone else, to the next byproduct?
Yeah. The real simple answer is not accepted too often. It's called action. It's called work. Here's the thing is, if you want, first of all, what does success mean? Today, it might mean something different than what it's going to be a month from now, 2 months from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, right? I would not be successful if I'm only making $1,000 a day now, right? That would be a failure for me. But today, depending where you're starting at, that might be a huge fucking win. And then I got to reverse track. Okay, I need to make a G a day, 30 grand a month. I got to reverse engineer how I'm going to get there. What are my skills? What I love doing? What I hate doing? Where can I make money? Where can I monetize the eyeballs? What, if you have a big following, no following, like there's a lot of these variables that we all have. And then I'm going to start creating a plan. Success to me would be controlling my action steps. If I talk to 10 people, I convert one. For every one I convert, it's worth $500. So I need to talk to 20 people to accomplish my goal. You and I both know if you want to make 1,000, you better close 2,000, because only 1,000 comes in. That's the game we're in. That's called life, right? So you better close 4 people instead of 2 people. So now I got to talk to 40 people, close 4 people. And then ideally, the more repetitions I get under my belt, my conversions go from 10 to 1, 10 to 2, 10 to 3, like 20, 30, 40, 50% conversions. Because now I start understanding my worth. I start understanding how to conversate, to communicate, to listen, to convert, to tell people, no, this is not a fit for you. These are power moves through action, though. The only way to do this is through action. There's no sitting around on your ass and eating Cheetos and Doritos and drinking beer trying to lose weight. This is but by the way, this is like this is when you're trying to lose weight, everyone's like, dude, what's the secret? Exercise, burn calories, and take less calories in. That's the secret. Now, there's lots of ways to do that.
Yeah.
And everyone's looking for the magic pill. Just do the work. And it's not quick work. It's going to take time. And that's why you got to get excited on repetition over and over and over. And you're going to wake up 30 days from now. By the way, you can do this because when you're losing weight, you got to step on a scale every morning. It's kind of painful. But looking at your bank account, if we're talking about business, is painful.
Ouch.
It's either growing or shrinking.
Ouch.
Your choice. And that's your scale. That's your scale. And my actions, my KPI reports. How many calls did I make? How many people did I talk to? How many people did I convert? How many commitments did I get? How many negatives did I get? What can I do better? Review. Tomorrow, next thing, same thing. Next day, same shit. Like, dude, you're doing this I still do it. I still do it. So it's never going to end. I was talking with a guy today and helped him out in his business a while back ago, and he's crushing. He's making about 50 grand a month. That's a lot of money for where he's at and where he's going. And he's like, dude, I can't wait until I don't have to worry about money. And I messaged him back. I'm like, dude, I still worry about money. What are you worried about? Money. See, again, attaching worry and money to these things, it's like, what are you worried about? Money's just money. We've made it like a god, like it's a thing. It's just a it makes the world go around. And I'm all about money, by the way. I'm not acting like I'm not about money. I want to get more, and I'm going to get more. But again, back to the thought, worry about money. I'm worried about keeping it, preserving it, stewarding it, giving it away, growing it, evolving it, getting more cash flow. That's my worries, right? His worry maybe is, I don't like owing people. Well, you're going to always owe people. It's called the taxes. It's called property taxes. It's called your light, bills and all that. He owns a pretty big business, but it's, what does worry mean?
Gosh, man.
We got to get more action. If you guys never learn anything from me, just do action. Like inaction, like misguided action is better than inaction. Right? You're going to wake up. I think we were having a call, right, Toby, on the DM Alliance. One guy's like, well, what do I say if I'm, in 5 years, I'm going to be in a different place?
Yeah, I remember that.
Dude, you're here today. That's all that matters. Share with where you're at. Share what's going on. We have to take action. I don't get it right. By the way, don't assume anybody, including me. I'm not 100% on all this shit ever. Right? There's days I don't want to work, but there's days I don't want to work that I do work. There's some days like a couple of days ago, and this very rarely happens, maybe twice a year, where I literally slept until like 6:30 in the morning. Like I'm usually up at 4-ish, right? And I'm ready to go. Jeez. And my wife's like, what happened? I was like, I don't know. But, and again, anxiety kicks up, but then I convert back. I'm like, boom, go to structure. Like, my actions that pulls me back in. It's just kind of what I do. So that gets me refocused. And while I'm hanging out, working, watching my kids play outside, my wife, I'm in the treehouse office out there. And, it's just, dude, I'm where I need to be. Do I want to be outside playing with my kids at that moment? Yes. But I have commitments. I have goals to hit,
We'll cut you a little slack on the waking up late. It was the day after Thanksgiving, so we'll cut you a little slack there.
No, man. I'm up early after the day after Thanksgiving because I took 3 naps during Thanksgiving.
Oh gosh, man. So I knew this was going to be fire, and I'm finding myself just like so infatuated with your words, and even like the gaps in between the words, like I'm interpreting and just learning from this. So. Like I'm not being a great host right now because I'm in learning mode. I'm taking this all in. I'm like, man, I want to implement this stuff. I'm literally about to crush the day. I'm going to start putting all this stuff into action. I don't want to be the guy that's sitting on the sideline and just being a bystander that's hanging out with the same high school friends that are all, I know it's taboo, but making 100K and happy with it, right? Like we're all here for a reason. And I think I love it that we can be so honest about that. You start talking about money and people start walking away. You start losing a lot of friends. Oh, I just posted something the other day about being ambitious, and people are like, you don't want to be too ambitious, right? You don't want to do this. It's like, well, you're hanging around the wrong people. If you're hanging out with people that squash ambition, you're in the wrong rooms. So how do people get into the right rooms? And why is there always a misconception that they're trying to be sold?
Well, again, it's their thoughts. It's like, that's their protection mechanism. Like I'm always being sold. I always think about my grandmother. She was an awesome lady. Her name was Riz. She was hilarious. But she was tough as nails, man. The Girl Scout cookies come up the door. She's like, shut the goddamn door. These kids are going to take the money and they're going to go buy candy with it. Blah, blah. I'm like, huh? Like, what are you talking about? That's how we got to understand how she grew up. She grew up in the 20s. And she was born in the late 18, like what?
Not the Girl Scout cookies.
It's wild to me.
What did you do?
I saw this all the time. So that happened my whole life. Like I saw it around me. And the thing is like, you have to realize, if you think you're being sold, first of all, I like to be sold.
Yeah.
With value, right? If it's valuable, I want it. Like, what do you, like you're more worried, but again, that says you're more worried about money, not having it, than you are having it.
Yeah.
Right. If I can solve my problem for $1,000 today, why wouldn't I do that? By the way, time's way more important than money will ever be to me, right? You can have $1 billion in the bank, you bust your ass, get $1 billion, and then you're on the deathbed and they're like, hey, give me your $1 billion, I'll let you live another month. You're now broke with dollars. You have a month of your life to go get it back and or just enjoy life. And that's one thing I want to be clear too. Not everybody has ambition like I do or you do, Toby, or all that. And there's nothing wrong with that. My ambition when I first started was $100,000 a year because I literally knew no one that made $100,000 a year in my life ever, right? So now if I made that in a week, I'm in trouble, right? Like I'd be like, oh my gosh, things are collapsing everywhere. So you have to understand, like, it's okay to start with where you're at. That's where you're at. No one cares if you got beat up by mommy and daddy, physically, emotionally, mentally, all that. It sucks, but no one can do anything about it except you. Show them. Go prove them wrong. Go prove them that you can be better. Go prove, like, you got to change the situation, right? And then same thing financially. Dude, I saw my mom and dad fight a lot through their childhood. It was
Same.
never about anything else but not having money. My parents played money roulette, bill roulette. They put the bills on the table, whatever pulled out, that's what they paid. The rest went in the trash. I saw that my whole life, right? So these things stick with us. So if you feel like you're being sold, it's because you're worried. You bet that you suck at selling, right? Clearly, because why wouldn't you want to be fucking sold something that could help solve your problem? That's the truth. Like you gotta be. I want to be sold. If you can solve my problem, sell me something today. I'm a buyer.
It's that identity. I mean, I literally did this yesterday. So I went to Staples to get something for my laptop, and one of the clerks came up to me and they were like, "Hey, do you need help with something?" No, I'm good. I'm just looking. I came there to get something for my laptop, right? But my identity like was just so loud that day that it spoke out. It's like, then I finally came back and I was like, "Hey, I apologize. I am looking for this for my laptop. I need to get this, for some, audio editing or something like that." And they helped me, right? So it's like on a grander scale, how much of us are walking around with that little chip, and our identity is just showing through, and our intentions may be clear, but our identities are just holding us back because you're just like, it's like, your grandma slamming the door on somebody, the Girl Scout cookies, poor Girl Scout cookies. Don't ever do that. Those things are delicious, but
dude, here's the thing. I was talking with my guys in my 50K group. There's a lot of people out here trying to drive silently. They have silent goals. They have silent dreams. They have silent actions. They're not sharing. And what I realized in my life, and again, by the way, we've been programmed like this our whole life.
yeah.
In school, sit down, shut up. If you have a question, raise your hand. By the way, I used to get caught collaborating in school. They call it cheating. Right? I'm good at math, not good at English. And I get caught, and they're like, "Evans, you're cheating. You get an F, whatever. You're suspended, detention, whatever."
Collaborated.
And it's like, well, dude, listen. First of all, why the fuck do we think we need to be great at everything? Who said we need to be great at everything? Right? In school, I knew I wasn't good at English. I wasn't going to try to excel at it. I just wanted to get the fundamentals, get out of school, and go get money. Right? In my companies, dude, I have everybody smarter than me. Every single person smarter than me intellectually. But I'm telling you, as an entrepreneur, they don't have the grit that we may have. Right? I have experience of grit. I've been beat up. I've been kicked down. I've been almost bankrupt twice. I've literally everything's on the line every day, 24/7. Right? They're not willing to do that. They want the weekly check. I don't. I wake up every day for free. I don't get paid anything unless I go get it. You know what I mean? As well as every real entrepreneur. Yeah. So, when they talk, like we're not good. Where I'm going with this is we're not good at asking for help. People want to help you. Truthfully, genuine. There's so many great people that want to help you. Like this Staples person. Hey, what do you? It's like, dude, I don't know, but just sell me something good that can help me. Blah 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 blah. Like start changing your narrative around that. Right? Asking for help. I used to do this when I used to hire people, shitty people, by the way. They're my fault, not their fault. I would literally go out there and I'd put on a suit, go to the Regis and like act like I'm a big shot, hire someone. They come to my office. I'm in boots, dirt up to my knees. And I'm like, yo, let's go. We're going to work. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't sign up for this. Right. So I was living multiple lives because I thought to be successful, that's what it looked like. Again, I did not know I was editing in real time. But like when I started sitting down at a Starbucks or at a small local coffee shop saying, listen, I need your help. I suck at paperwork. I absolutely suck. By the way, in business, I was good at making money, not good at collecting money. Two different activities, right? I could go, side the house, build the house, whatever, 200 grand. But I was sucked at billing, follow up, collections, and all that stuff. And then documenting and taxes. And I was horrible at it. So I had to fire every real entrepreneur from my experience that sucks at that stuff. So, but again, until you ask for help, you can't literally expect anybody to help you. And that's where the anxiety and the pin-up stress and frustration becomes, because in our mind, we're thinking about it, we're writing about it, but we're not sharing it with anybody. So where do you go to share these challenges? Where do you go and say, hey, by the way, you can't go call your friends and like, dude, I'm having a problem. I made $1 million this year and I'm trying to figure out how to avoid taxes or minimize taxes or whatever. Because they'll be like, dude, you made $1 million. Oh my. And if you go in the right group, they're like, oh, here's who you need to call, do this, do that, do this. Here's where, whatever. Like it's a collaboration. It's a non-ego, non-judgmental. We're there to serve. We're there to help. And if you're not in rooms pushing you, you're in the wrong room. Like by the way, the DM Alliance pushes me every day. because I want to wake up for them. I want to lead by example. I don't want to talk about it. I want to do it and then come back with results. You know what I mean? So these are the kind of groups. By the way, to this group, like, you're leading by example. You're bringing people here to collaborate, and they're congregating here to collaborate and grow. And people need to stay. The problem is they're going to have some resistance. And they're going to bounce. Oh man, real estate's not for me. Maybe you're not for real estate. You know what I mean? So we got to kick it up a notch for sure, man.
Yeah, and that was, like I said in the beginning, that was the hardest part, because so many people think it's all about the real estate. And it's like, no. And I'm still learning, right? But just uncovering this and getting outside of the matrix, it's like, it's not about the real estate. It's all about who relationship capital, which I'm sure we're going to talk about, which is heavy, and building up what's in here. Because before this, man, I had so much self-doubt. I'd look at, the people that are acquiring units, and I would say, oh, that's the WIG party. I could never do that. What would that look like if I were to get into that? And then you start hanging out with people like Mark and people in the DM Alliance, and it's like, oh yeah, that's nothing. It's just a few little chess pieces here, and now you're there. It's like, what else am I missing? Like, what else am I missing out on? Because this wasn't prepared for the opportunity that was in front of me, because I just couldn't take action because this wasn't sharp yet. It's like,
well, the difference is what you're talking about, though, Toby. The difference is you see opportunity now when most see obstacles, right? Like, why are they selling me? Like you mentioned earlier, that's an obstacle, by the way. What if they sold me and it made me a lot of money? That's an opportunity, and oh, by the way, we are who, we sell how we interpretate stuff. So that's why I said, if you don't like to be sold, you probably suck at selling, and that's cool. You got to learn that different, because listen, if someone comes to you and you can help them and you don't convert them, that's on you, not them. They don't know better. You know better, right? So you have to sharpen your skills. Before this call as well, I was talking with one of my sales guys about how to build relationships with people. He's very corporate-y, formal. I'm like, dude, this is shitty. By the way, this is exactly how I talk to him, and I apologize for fussing, but that's who I am, so I don't apologize. That's who I am. But I was like, yo, man, this is how you need to do it. We're talking about this in the DM Alliance. Like, connect with people. They're humans. By the way, back to this real estate thing, though, too. How many real estate deals or business deals has anybody ever done with a house or an apartment? I've bought thousands of properties. I've never once done a deal with an asset. I've done a deal with an individual. Humans.
Wow.
Right? So real estate is the easiest thing in the world. It's the equalizer of dummies. I'm talking about myself. I'm a dummy, but I know math. Everyone's like, dude, real estate's risky. Real estate's the least riskiest thing you could do. It's a formula. There's no risk. You consider it risky because you don't have knowledge. Anybody that says real estate's risky is just not knowledged up. Like, dude, I'm buying a house for $100. It's worth $150. I'm owner financing it. I got someone renting it for $1,200 a month. My payment's $900 a month. Where's the risk? It's in the work. It's in the information. It's in the knowledge, right? So, because when I hear that, I know 14 different strategies to exit out of that deal without losing money, right? You might only know one: sell it, or two: sell it or BK it.
Yeah.
Right? That's the only thing you know. But what about owner financing? What about wraparound mortgage? What about sub 2? What about selling a piece of the deal for equity? There's so many exits inside of a deal, and you all better knowledge up on creative financing right now.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not just to buy, maybe to keep your business intact, because you're going to have to bring in outside money. You're going to have to get creative with your equity, because you're going to realize your equity does not pay your bills ever. Now, I always love the people like, dude, I got $2 million in equity. I'm like, cool.
Oh gosh.
Call your mortgage broker up and see how much equity
they're going to lose some people on this one.
It's
so
okay.
So I was going to ask you that. I mean, so in this space, it's so challenging as a newbie coming in, and you see people that own 1,000 doors, and they've got all these units and this unit count and all this blah blah blah. And you talked about having your own roadmap and stuff like that. Like, what's more important, equity or cash flow?
Well, again, cash flow is king. Equity's cool, but equity based off of what formula? Whose number are we using? Are we using Zillow's number? Are we using the auditor's number? Are we using our financial accountant's number? or appraisers, whose number are we using? See, the thing is, equity is more of an ego play. There's no reality to it. First of all, equity is only equity until it's realized profits. You know what I mean? So, but again, back to this thing you said a second ago. I've never cared what someone else has. I know what I want. So I go get it. I don't have time to worry about how many doors Toby has. First of all, most of these guys online say, oh, I own 1,000 units. They probably own 2 of the units of the 1,000 because they've syndicated everything else out and they've diluted their equity on every asset because they're fucking clowns. They're more about like dude, I know a guy right now, I swear to God, he says he's closed his 23rd deal in apartment building in the last 2 years. He literally, I'm not joking, owns 0.75 to 1.2% of every asset. That's it.
Wow. But I'm trying to do the math. It's not very much.
This guy's bragging 24/7.
Jeez.
It's bad and it's sad. But again, I'm focused on me. I don't care where you're at. Like, I can't control you. I don't know if you're lying or telling the truth, nor does it matter, by the way, unless I'm doing a deal with you. That doesn't really matter, right? But I'm doing deals. I'm making calls. I'm building out a company. I'm building out databases. I'm nurturing relationships. I'm connecting with people about money. I'm educating people about money, how to invest in hard assets. All these things, like I'm knowledging up. If you're exhausting all your energies on what everyone else is doing, you're losing the game of life because there's nothing there that you can do, right? And by the way, you won't even know, like they're going to be contacting you 5 years from now wanting to be in your shoes because they've been lying so long, you know? So just get out there and do your work. Just do you. I wrote a book called Me Economy about this.
Yeah.
You know? Get selfish. Do you.
100%. 100%. So I know we're hitting the 45-minute marker, and I could talk to you forever, Mark. Like I said, I knew this one was going to be special because there's just so much wisdom. Talking to you is just like talking to somebody that just absolutely knows you and gets you, and you don't encounter that very often as a human being and as an entrepreneur. So it's just really special to have an opportunity to get you on here and just have all this truth and bombs of knowledge just being dropped on the group. How can people reach out to you after this, and how can they know more about you? I told you from the get-go that the goal was for Mark Evans DM Google searches to skyrocket after this. So how can people get to know you personally?
No, listen, man, I think follow me on Instagram at Mark Evans DM. Go to my website, markevansdm.com. Just we send out emails often. At the end of the day, just follow me and connect. We're just getting to know each other. I'm a long-term play. I don't need anything from you. I think I'm coming from a great place. I don't need anything from you. I want to help you. I want to serve you. I want to guide you. I want to be real talk in a market where most people are trying to sell you. I don't need to. I want your money. I don't need your money. And I'd only want your money if I can help you. So if anybody's like, what if you sell me? Like, dude, I'm going to sell you when I can help you. That's when. So if I'm selling you, that means I'm trying to help you. And your story that you've created in your head about that is on you, not me. So, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I can tell you this, like, I just want to, I want you guys to stay in the game. The only way to lose this game is to quit. You've got Toby, you got this group of people here, and it sounds like absolutely everyone here wants to tackle it and take on the world. And that's what it's about. But again, just do you. You set your goals. Maybe your first goal is 1,000 a month, 10,000 a month, whatever it is. That's what you need to focus on. It does not matter. Shut off all the noise. Shut off Netflix, shut off Google, shut off whatever, and get to work. And I just want to see you guys succeed at new levels and hopefully do deals with you in the future. That's what it's about. By the way, not just real estate, business and all that.
100%. 100%. So like I said earlier, I challenge you, look for this everywhere. Success leaves clues. I never thought that I would be wearing one of these hats until I started following Mark, and I was just like, I got to get in that circle. I have to do whatever it takes. I mean, I was just I do a lot of reflection. I mean, you're an entrepreneur, you reflect a lot. You have to. You got to decompress. So I was reflecting the other day, and I was just talking to my wife, and it's like, man, it's such an honor to be around Mark. I'm gonna be around that guy for the rest of my life, as long as you'll have me. I know you said yesterday you got a 10-year run with one of your other groups. I'm like, look, Mark's gonna have to like beat me off of him. I'm going to follow this guy to the end of the earth, you know, because it's life-changing stuff to be around somebody that's just got so much momentum and is just doing so many great things. I mean, it's really just an honor, man. And I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate you, Mark. And I really wanted everybody to experience what I've experienced in the last 6 months of just being around you, and the personal growth and the business growth and the things that I've seen as a man happen for other people in the group and other people around you. It's been phenomenal. So I just can't thank you enough, Mark. From the bottom of my heart,
awesome.
really mean that.
No, it's cool. Guys, be on the lookout too. We're getting ready to launch something really cool about giving. Toby, you don't even know about this, but I'll be sharing that in the DM Alliance. But, you know, our goal is going to be very lofty. We know there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and we're all going to step up in the DM Nation and really give to a whole nother level. See, the thing is, it's easy to give when it's easy. You know, this is when you've been tapped on the shoulder and it scares you. I get goosebumps even saying it, because people are like, shit, I'm already committing in my brain.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Not here, Mark.
Toby's internet connection just went down.
Oh, gotta go.
But no, I'm going to challenge a lot of people, because, you know, the giving muscle is a real muscle. And if you truly believe in tithing, giving 10, you know, giving a percentage and then 10xing and all that stuff, this will be a moment of truth. And I think a lot of people have these thoughts, but thoughts are only thoughts. Action with a thought is where it's going to lead you to the motherland. And I really believe at the end of the day, with the stuff that we're going to be sharing with you guys, will be absolutely amazing over the next 3 months. And we're going to need everyone's help. And when I share it, you'll know why, Toby.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
I am too.
Well, I can't thank you enough, Mark. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Reach out to Mark, reach out to myself, share the love, share the knowledge. Let's all get it.
Thank you, guys. Keep up the great work. Enjoy the journey. It's fun.
Peace.
Appreciate you.